Welcome to another edition of MIW. Got the D-Man here, and today we're continuing in Imagination, the redemptive power in man, the power to change who you are. And until you change who you are, you will never change how you are or how your world is or what comes into your world. If you don't have enough in your world today, if you're lacking, it's because you lack inside in consciousness. And if this video is of value to you, please hit the like and subscribe button and share it with a friend. And we will continue in the book by Neville Goddard. I've read all of his books, or at least all of them I can think of that I've bought anyway. I'm not sure if he has more. I think I've read them all. Some I've read many times. I really enjoy his readings. Okay, prayers are not successfully made unless it is a rapport between the conscious and subconscious mind of the operator. Now, prayer, you can think of that in a religious context, or think of it, affirmations are prayer. To say affirmations is a prayer because you're speaking what you desire. I mean, you can have a negative prayer. You can be talking, thinking, and speaking about what you don't like. Listen to people. Listen to what they talk, what they say. There's a verse that I've heard, from the fullness of the heart the mouth speaks. If a person is complaining, they're negative all the time, look at their life. Look what their life is like. Usually you can tell what a person is like by what they say. Now, if they don't talk much, it makes it a little more difficult, but listen to what they're saying. Listen to what they're talking about. Very important. Listen, but what's more important, listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're talking about throughout the day. Be aware of what you're thinking. Think about what you're thinking about. Okay, this is done through imagination and faith. By the power of imagination, all men, certainly imaginative men, are forever casting forth enchantments. Don't let that word, that's just, they're casting forth visions, really. And all men, especially unimaginative men, are continually passing under their power. I'll guarantee you, Henry Ford was a man of great imagination. Was he very intelligent? Maybe not in the way that formal education teaches, because he was on trial one time because he made a statement about the war. He was a conscientious objective, something like that, a person who doesn't want to fight in the war. So they took him to court to prove that he was ignorant. Okay, they asked him how many men came over from Britain during the war, you know, when the United States got their freedom, their independence from Great Britain, 1776. And he says, I don't know how many came over, but a hell of a lot less went back than came over. So, and he went on to say, look, he said, why should I fill my head with useless information when I can tap a button? He had like 7 buttons on his desk. He could hit any button and bring in someone to tell him anything he needed to know. He realized the power of using other people's intelligence, wisdom, and knowledge. Although himself he did not have this knowledge, he did not need to have it. You do not need to know everything. And especially now with the internet, you can find anything you need to know. I mean, school teaches, I really think, up until the 8th grade, to read, write, add, subtract. I think that's really important. But beyond that, a lot of these things they teach them, they'll forget because they won't use it. Unless you're going into a specialized field, they form everybody into one grouping, and everybody has different talents. But that's a whole other video too. We'll go on with the book. The statement, you must be born from above or you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven, is an example. It is literally true, but it is told in a metaphor. The rich young man said, how is it possible to again enter my mother's womb and be born a second time? Like I said, he teaches out of the Bible, but in a metaphysical sense. But the womb is below and not above. It is speaking of the birth of the second man, the spiritual man or metaphysical man, from Genesis right to the end of the book. It says that God created all things and that he said, it is good. I don't think I was born a sinner. The word sin means to miss the mark. I was born a person who's going to make mistakes, who's going to miss the mark. Now, in that respect, I believe that. But I think I was born good. I make mistakes. Who doesn't? 7 times he repeats, it is good, the perfect number. One day you will see the whole vast world, and you will say, it is good, and you will animate it. I know everything depends on the activity taking place in man, and spell it with large letters, for the garments are male and female. Now, Neville believes, and I do too, that we just live in this house or whatever. Some people believe when you die, that's it. But I don't think anybody can argue, I guess they could, that your imagination is what creates reality. That at least that's where, if you don't want to believe it creates it, that's where it starts. Before anything can happen, there has to be a thought in the mind of man before any action is taken. Okay, I accidentally flipped the page again. The statement more above, okay. You are man, the generic man that is God. The whole vast world is man pushed out. Not a man, but man. All that you behold, though it seems to be without, it is within in your own wonderful imagination, of which this vegetative world is but a shadow. It is hard at this stage to think that your world is a shadow, and it is cast by you, and you are activating it. Now here's something to think about. You think everything's out there. Okay, here's the deal. You see it as it's out there, but everything you see within your head. It goes through your eyes and reflects back. I don't know the terms the medical terms that they use, the neuroscience, but the reflection goes through your eyes and it reflects back in there, and you actually see it within your head. Your ears, the sound is actually in your ears. Everything that happens within your skull, if you want to say, or your world inside of you. It's not actually happening out there. Now, I know that's a hard concept to grasp. So your universe is inside of you, really. I mean, in a sense, you are God. You create the universe because it's happening inside of you. Now, it doesn't mean that I or you or anyone else made the moon or the earth. I'm not saying that. But it's like an eyewitness. Eyewitnesses are the poorest form of proof, because two people can see the same thing, but each have a different perception. Why is that? How can it be? Because each person is filtering all that through everything that's happened to them from the time they were born. So their perception is different from another person's. What do they say? 100 people reading 100 books is 100 people. 100 people reading the same book is 100 people reading a different book, because each person reads differently, even though the words are the same. Each person perceives differently, even though the words are the same. And we need to remember that. Okay? I think I'm going to go now because I hear some of my kids and they're about to interrupt me. So I hope this has been of help to you. And if it has, share it with a friend. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I will talk to you later. Be cool.